isn't this the top question that everybody always wants to know if you're a real estate investor?
Yeah.
How do I find deals? Was it Tamara I was talking with earlier? I'm putting her on the spot. How do I find deals? She found a deal. It was a really hard deal. And my advice to her was go find more deals. Because if they're really hard deals, you're going to get stuck on that deal. And you're going to wonder why you're not smart enough to figure out that deal. And I can tell you that while you're focusing on that one deal, there's hundreds of other deals that you're just driving right by. And they don't even know that you're looking for them. So the short answer, and I'm going to expand on it, is how do I find deals? It's in the marketing. And marketing really isn't that hard. The reason that most of you aren't getting results out of your marketing is you're not putting a marketing plan together. And that's, you know, listen, I don't have a degree in marketing. I have a degree from the University. Anybody else have that one? Yeah, if you haven't applied for the credit yet, it's probably pretty easy to get. Just fail a lot at something. Then you get your degree from University, okay? Well, one thing I've noticed is I can say I have a marketing plan. And you guys are going to write that down, and then you're going to say, Sean, what is the marketing plan? Somebody say that. What's the marketing plan? Okay. The marketing plan, first of all, has to be devised by you. Okay? Because if you don't devise a marketing plan, you won't stick to the marketing plan. So I'm going to give you the high points, because remember, I've got about 15, 20 minutes tonight. Then we want to get our other sponsors in here. We want to get Rick Silva. Please tell me Rick's here tonight. Rick Silva.
Here tonight.
Okay, thank God. I just wanted to make sure Rick was here.
I haven't got a clue whether he's here tonight.
Okay, so somebody told me that, so he did what he was told. If Rick doesn't show up, well, we're going to have somebody else get up here and give you guys some dazzling education. That sound okay?
Yes.
I will fill the time. I promise you I will fill the time for you. Okay? So specifically, we're not marketing anything other than how to buy real estate. Is that true? That's why you're here, right? You want to buy real estate. More importantly, you want to get paid on real estate. Is that true?
Yes.
All right. So good, because that's what I did tonight. I'm telling you how I do it with real estate, nothing else. So when you're marketing, and you're marketing to real estate, first and foremost, you want to have a pipeline of deals, right? For those of you who don't know the word pipeline, you got a big pipe and it's empty. If it's full, you're always going to have something that you can close, which means you can eat. Eating's good, right? How many of you guys have a full-time job? So real estate investing is your second job? How many of you, for real estate, is your second job? Raise your hand.
It's my other full-time job.
Your other full-time job. So Matt is in the industry as the greatest lender on the planet. That's not a lie. He'll tell you that himself, right?
Absolutely.
Right? Matt is the greatest lender on the planet.
That's Troy Porter.
That's it. He's just the man, right? But his second job is real estate investing. Okay? Well, you guys have a second job. It's more important that you be focused and that you know what you're doing. Would that be a true statement? All right. So let's go to the next slide. Tap that screen. This is a postcard that I use, and those of you who are nodding your head because I've given you this formula. This is exactly the postcard I use, except now I print it out. It has almost the same font, but I print it out and I do it on a solid color card. Okay? But for those of you that know me, is this the message I tell you to put out? For those of you that are doing it, is your phone ringing? Raise your hand if your phone is ringing. Few of you are doing it, and the phone is ringing. Is anybody doing it, what I said, and the phone's not ringing? Okay.
Low battery.
I wasn't sure. Okay? So, you can feel free to take a picture of this, you can write it down, you can do whatever you want. I see some of you are already doing that. And I will beat you every time. You want to know why I will beat you? Because I send them out every week. Right now we send out 4,000 a month. How many of you are sending out 4,000 pieces of direct mail a month or more? Okay, so lesson number one in your marketing plan. Do it every day. Is that a good lesson? Will you guys listen? Whatever you're going to do it every day. Would you agree with me, David Kent? David Kent told me when he came today, hey, I just started thinking about firing up my marketing plan again, and what happened, David? Your phone started to ring. Is that true? You know, you can call it the secret, you can call it the law of attraction, you can call it whatever we want, but what I call it is marketing. When your brain is switched on and you guys make the commitment to put something out, by the way, you can do whatever you want, but guess what? While you guys are trying to find a sharper saw, while you're trying to innovate, I'm going to tell you to imitate. So lesson one right now, imitate me. Do this. imitate before you innovate. If you guys will take that lesson to heart and take massive action, your phone will ring. Okay? It will ring. Now, who do I send these cards to? I send these cards to absentee owners. For those of you that don't know what an absentee owner is or how to get that list, I'll tell you, it's real simple. You call a title company. If you don't have a good title company that you like, that you've worked with, I will give you one. Okay? And you call the title company, you ask for their marketing department. Affectionately, we call them donut dollies, right? They're the ones that bring you donuts and stuff. You don't really think they do much, but they do. They're your key to free stuff. And this list is called an absentee owner list. And they will email this list to you. Here's what they need to know. Where you want it. You have a zip code, you have a north, south, east, west boundary, you have a subdivision, you have whatever. You've got to tell them, Jonas, in what area you want the list. Ask them, you want the list for all of Salt Lake County? It'll be 47,000. I know, because that's the list I work from. That's a lot of names, right? 47,000 records. It's going to take me a whole year at 4,000 apiece just to get through the whole list once. Does that make sense? That's a pretty big list. So Brian, would you be intimidated to have to try to mail 48,000 pieces of mail? Absolutely. He might be a little intimidated. The bottom line is this. I mail to an absentee owner list. I have a list of 127,000 that I mail to in Southern California. That's another 4,000 pieces of mail. What's important is that you do something, and I'm going to recommend that you mail to the absentee owner list. Call the title company, David Ivers, ask them for the list. They will mail it to you in a CSV format, which for those of you that don't know, that's Excel. Anybody don't know Excel? Microsoft Office Excel, you can use that. You're going to look at that list. That's where you get your names and addresses from. Does that make sense? What is an absentee owner? Somebody who gets their tax bill at an address different than the house. That's how they kind of classify that. What I'm banking on is that person is either a landlord, right? And maybe not on purpose, or they've got a family member living in that house. How many of you have family members? Everybody should raise your hand unless you were hatched from an egg. How many of you, keep your hands up if you like all your family members? Mine's going to go down too. Okay? Sometimes that's the best deal you can find. Somebody who's had a problem, they've got a family member in that house, they don't want to kick them out. Matt's laughing because he's probably had it a time or two. Okay? So that's what I focus on. Remember, I'm trying to give you hit the ground running marketing tips. I know you can do it better than me. There you go, innovating again. Just imitate. Alright? Flip the switch. Here's another thing that you want to keep with you all times. And remember, that's direct mail, right? So when I send those first pieces out, that's direct mail. They get it, and when they call me, why are they calling me?
They want to sell their house.
He says because they want to sell their house. Why else, Brian?
They want information.
They want information. They want to kick the tires.
Because you told them to.
Trevor has the right answer. I was waiting for somebody to give me the answer. Because I told them to call me. When I say call me to receive an offer, am I shocked when they call me? No, I told them to call me. They're doing what they're told. So, here's some sticky notes. They're Post-it notes, right? You peel one off, sticky on the back, right? How hard is it to walk through the neighborhood that you're farming and stick that on the door? Not hard at all. How many of you will go out and do it? Well, this is what you need to be doing. You can get like 1,500 of these pads printed for like 150 bucks. I know because Todd just did it, right? You notice the commonality? You notice that number is the same? That number that Todd's using is the same number that I use. That's no accident. We are combining our marketing budget. We have a single call center. That makes sense? And I'm going to tell you in a little bit how you can do the same thing. For those of you that have part-time job or full-time jobs, this is part-time. Is it easy for you, James Mack, to break away from the phone during the day when your people start calling? He mailed 100 letters. 100 of those postcards got 5 calls in the first 10 days. Is that a pretty good response rate? And a lot of those went to voicemail because he's working. He's got a 3-week-old baby at home. Okay? You walk around with those. You carry these in your car. And if you don't want to go to the trouble of getting them printed, pen works just as good. I tend to think if you go to the trouble of getting them printed, you would actually show up and put them on the house. Does that make sense? So Sean, how do you identify houses that you want to put these notes on? I'm glad you guys asked that question. You guys are a great group. And look at this, brown lawn, green pool. Not a lot of pools in Salt Lake, but that's what I've followed forever. Brown lawn, green pool. Brown lawn, yucky, weeds, mail piled up. My favorite one is the bright sticker on the door that means it's a HUD foreclosure, it's been winterized. You guys know what that looks like? You can see that from a distance, right? One of the Gorilla tips that I use is you get these in a hot pink color, and you put that on someone's door, and they think their water or the power's been shut off, so they run back to check on it. So color matters sometimes. Doesn't that make sense? Yeah? So you drive through your neighborhood, and I call it driving for dollars. And you look for these obviously vacant or abandoned houses. I'll tell you what, I recently started driving through Rose Park. You guys know the Rose Park area? Yeah. And I love that area, man. And I started driving through that neighborhood about 2 months ago. I was actually helping David on a house out there. By the way, David's got, you still got that one for sale?
Yes.
Halfway? Okay.
Yes.
He's got a house for sale with terms, seller finance, pretty good terms, fully renovated. So raise your hand, David. Give David a plug there. Here's what I noticed when I was driving through their neighborhood. There was all this garbage at the curb. It's like time for bulk pickup for Salt Lake County or something like that. And I was all excited because I was driving and I saw this mattresses and old IKEA furniture, you know, the 1969 television that's huge. And I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I found a little gem. And I found out that it was just everybody puts their garbage out like that. But let me tell you, yeah, once a year, right? But what that did is it reminded me of a good friend of mine named Bill Tan from Southern California. And he has a method he calls trash truck treasures. Now, if you find out what trash day is in your neighborhood that you're buying in, get up early and follow the trash truck. Because the people who don't put their trash cans out, usually it's because it's vacant. Is that a good way to find vacant houses? Then what you do is you get out of your car and you put one of these on the door. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you follow that trash truck, they'll tell you who's home and who's not home. Also, if there's just a big pile of trash out there, Jim Stevenson, and it's not once a year, it's that one time a year, that's another great way to find people who did a midnight move out on your property. Okay? So we have absentee owners that we mail to. And why do they call us? We told them to. We have owners that we stick notes on. And why are they going to call us? Because we told them to. Right? What if you could get a hold of owners, landlords that are at the lowest point in their landlording career? Would that be of interest to you? All right, so go to the county of Salt Lake or Utah County and you hook into the court system. If you pay a small monthly fee, they'll give you a list every day of the current evictions that are happening. How would it be if the person who's going through a messy eviction got a letter from you that says, I'm looking to buy a property, are you looking to sell? What are they likely to think? Man, this guy's a mind reader. Right about the time I'm going through this eviction, I get a letter from this guy who says, I want to buy your crappy house. At least that's the way he sees it, isn't it? So if you'll overlay some of these tactics, you're going to find motivated sellers who are going to call you because you told them you were a buyer. How many of you guys in here are buyers? Raise both hands. You all know why? Because you always have to buy a thing before you can sell the thing. If you're making money, how long can you sell the thing? Not to contradict Randall when he says you make money when you buy, but if you want to sell it, you got to own it first. So we're all buyers, right? Does everybody know you're a buyer? That's the problem, right? They got to know you're a buyer. And I've just given you, I don't know, a few ways that you can get your phone to ring. Is that true? Yes. Do you think they're easy to follow? Does anybody think it's hard? Okay. Now, you can do what I do, and you can go get yourself an inkjet printer, and you can have your handwriting scanned at, I can't remember now, handwriting.com or myfonts.com. I'll think of it sooner or later here, and I'll give it to you. And it's $10, and they scan your thing, and then I type that in, that's all that was. Then you send it off, and they print it for you. I send it to my printer. I print them on 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, and then I have my assistant cut them into 4s. Pretty easy, right? Then you can put labels on them if you want. You can hand address them. I happen to have my assistant hand address all of my mail. That's a pretty big job, 4,000 pieces a month. But it's job stability, isn't it? Job security, because she knows as long as I'm doing those, as long as she's answering the phone, I'm going to keep doing it. Does that make sense? All right, skip over. I don't know what I have up next. You'd be surprised. Oh, there we go. Here's something I recently looked at, and I really think I'm going to do it. This is called ad hitch. You've got a small SUV or a pickup truck, you can get your own mobile billboard. You can plug it right into your trailer hitch on your car or your SUV. And that thing will play 3 messages. It's got a triangle piece, and it'll rotate every 10 seconds. It'll change the message. Isn't that crazy? Now, it's not cheap, but how much does a regular billboard cost? Anybody ever try to buy a billboard?
How much is that?
I know exactly how much it is, but I'm trying to ask you guys, how much is a billboard on the side of the road, the really big road?
300 a day?
7 to 15 grand.
These are $3,800. It's lit, it's mobile, it comes with a stand that if you would take it off your car, you can set it in front of your office, you can put it in the window of one of your rentals. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is awesome. And believe it or not, I found this on KSL while I was just, how many of you guys do that KSL? I wonder what's on KSL thing. I do it all the time. And he said, hey, advertising. And I was like, well, you got me now. Ad hitch, man. Adhitch.com. Go to the next page. Say again?
Are you an owner?
No! I just think it's badass, right? I called them, they won't even let you buy into their company. You're like, no. Now what they do is they actually, some people buy these things and then just go out and sell advertising space to people like us. Pretty smart. They have their own sublimated printer there at the shop. I called them up and asked them, they'll print whatever 3 messages you want, and they'll set it up for you. It's weatherproof, it's lit for nighttime operation, and it's powered off the power from your car. So I was thinking, if you really want to penetrate an area, you could put your message on there and drive and hope you get it caught at every stoplight ever. Just sit there. How about at a Salt Lake Real game? Would you like to go to Real Salt Lake and sit there and be in the parking lot with all those people who are walking past your billboard? That would be awesome, right? So this is me trying to figure out what's next for me. And what's next for me, I can tell you, I'm going to buy a couple of these ad hitch billboards, right? So if any of you want to rent space for me, feel free to give me a call, and I will sell you space on my ad hitch billboards. The bottom line is that what this is all designed to do is let people know what you do. I'm a buyer, right, Helen? I want to buy your property. Call me to get an offer. We've got to get our message, but it has to be seen. Not like all you guys, and I want to do business with all of you. But if you're in here right now, what's the likelihood that there's a seller out there that needs what you offer? Pretty high likelihood. There's about, what, 5,000 houses on the multiple listing service right now, 4,500, something like that? That's just the ones that are on the MLS. How many people really want to sell or really need to sell that you haven't met yet? Let's get them to call you. Because I can tell you, doing it this way, and I bought lots of houses off the MLS. But getting the sellers to call me is by far the most effective, profitable way I've ever bought real estate. It's kind of, you slip in from the side, right? How many of you guys are realtors? You guys prospect pretty heavily? It's a numbers game, isn't it? If you stop right before you get paid, it's your fault because you stopped. Marketing is the same way. The thing that you're selling here is yourself. You guys have to be much better at that. This is why you have to have a plan and follow the plan. And if your marketing isn't priority, your business will suffer for it. That makes sense? It really, really will. I've tried to cut corners on marketing. I've tried not to do it. I've tried to just be a word-of-mouth referral kind of guy. And don't get me wrong, I love referrals, and I love working with people that have heard of me before. But we all will live or die by our pipeline. You've got to, you're going to get paid 3 months from now on stuff you did today. It's a 90-day rule. Every 90 days you're getting paid on what you were doing 90 days ago. And if you drift, and if you get into the habit of doing useless things, and isn't it funny how other useless habits kind of flock to you? So if you want to tap that screen one more time for Reggie. How many of you guys can't answer your own phone all the time? Well, I found a solution for you. I called this company, I found it in the back of a magazine. It's called callruby.com. They are receptionists, and they will answer your phone Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time. So we get kind of a cool break, right? They start a little later for us here in Utah, but they go until 7, basically, our time. Okay? It's a live call, answered live. And they do whatever you want them to do. They take a message, they route the call to you. You can have as many staff members on your profile as you want, with all their different cell phone numbers, and they'll take any number you have, you can forward it to them. Doesn't matter if it's Google Voice, your cell phone. And when you sign up, they give you a toll-free number and a local Portland number. They're based in Portland. Okay? So they have a 14-day trial, so I started with them on Monday. They are great, man. They've got real, live people answering that phone. You give them a business profile, tell them what you want callers to hear. I mean, they call you and ask you these questions. This isn't something you fill out online. They pretty much interview you. Now, why I think this is cool, their base level plan is $239 a month. And it gives you 100 minutes of receptionist time. Now, once they transfer the call, you're off the clock. So if you've got 100 calls a month, average a minute, that's your bandwidth there. But remember I said you could share, you can put as many extensions on there as you want. So Matt can have one and Brian can have one, and you guys could all pay for one account. And if you go over your minutes, Matt, they just tell you, hey, you're about to exceed your minutes. Now here's the cool thing, they track every call that comes in. You have a dashboard, go to the next page for me. Here's kind of a thing of their plan. So listen, I don't get paid anything for this. What they offered, they said, well, gee, Sean, for everybody that signs up, we'll give you a $50 gift card. I said, what if they sign up on their own? Well, they don't get anything. Okay. I would suggest you guys try a 14-day trial. You give them a credit card, but they don't charge it in the first 14 days. Try it out. See if it works. Because for you guys and gals that are working during the day, like James, man, they can answer your phone. Get a live call and tell them, you know what, James is in a meeting right now, but I know he'd like to call you back. What's your name? What's your number? You know, what's the address of your house? I told them, hey, when they call, I want you to ask them how they heard from me. Well, was it a postcard? Was it a sticky note? What's their address and how much they're looking to get for their house? Would you guys like to have somebody screen all your calls for you like that?
Yeah.
And man, they'll do it for you. Pretty cool. I think it's cool. I thought it was something that really made sense because a lot of you guys are, I tell to do this, and then you get home from work, and how many of you guys are pretty tired after a day at work? I know I am. And you're like, I'll call him tomorrow. I'll call him tomorrow. And tomorrow kind of never comes. And how do they feel like when they get your voicemail? Not as good as if they got a live person. And for those of you guys that are working during the day anyway, this would be great. Because while you're working, they're answering your phone, and the time when they hang up, they quit for the day, you're on the clock, aren't you? So consider something like this. Does that make sense to you guys?
How do you get the information from them?
Oh, they'll email it to you, they'll text it to you. Every call that comes in, they track, okay? And it goes into your interface. You can log in, and then they ask you, do you want to be notified by voicemail, text, email, or all three? And I say, man, send me everything you got, right? And then they have an app that you can download for iPad or Android. And while you're on the fly, you can click it and go, I'm away, I'm on, go to number 2, go to number 3. So it's pretty cool. I've been messing with it since Monday, and it's been pretty neat. So you've got all the control you want. Because I really believe that somebody should answer your phone off of it. Should not be you. Somebody else needs to answer your phone and tell you what they want. Then when you call back, you're in a position of strength. Because they feel so much better when you take the time, Brian, to call them back. They feel really special. They don't know that you worked all day at your other job. They just know that you've taken the time to call them back. So it's really important when I tell you how to get the phone to ring, and it will ring, somebody has to answer it for you. That makes sense? All right, tap that slide. Think I'm good on time. What it comes down to, I put out the marketing. I do the marketing consistently. The phone rings. Somebody answers it. Not me. I call them back. This is what it's all about. You've got to write the offers. If your goal is to get paid in real estate, I can guarantee you one thing. I have never been paid on a real estate deal without a contract. I always have to write a contract. I wish escrow would just call me. Where's our escrow officers? Hey, you guys get free money from me even though I didn't do a deal with you? No is the answer. Darn it. So I tracked back and I realized, what's my most effective use of time? And for me, Lisa, that was writing offers. And it just snowballs back from there. If I want to write offers, then I got to have targets. If I want targets, they got to call me. If I want them to call me, I got to market. Dang, there's that marketing again. That makes sense? This is a snapshot of my one-page offer. Okay? It doesn't go much more than that. The bottom after that is just the signatures, honestly. Couldn't fit it all in there. Now, I'm not a realtor. If you're a realtor and you're buying with your broker, you're going to have to use their form, right? I mean, if you're not buying for yourself. Now, I've been told that if you're a realtor, you're buying for yourself and you're not involving your broker, you don't have to use the rep sheet. If you're a realtor, don't freak out. Just check with your broker. That makes sense? When I buy a property and a realtor's involved, I just give them my contract, John, and I tell them, you take what I want and you put it on your forms. And guess what? They do. No problem. Do you want to ask a question? Sure. Can John ask a question? Go ahead.
What if the person is calling a realtor for a client? He's got a broker that he's answering to. He can't even accept that contract.
So John says, what if you're making this offer to a realtor that's representing a client? He can't even accept that offer. I always make the offer. And then I let them call me back and say, wow, I like your offer, but it needs to be on a Utah rep sheet. And I go, great, that's a great job for you. Take my offer and write that rep sheet, and then I'll sign it.
Then it has all that legal jargon we're trying to kind of avoid, right?
John says, has all this legal jargon that you were trying to avoid. You want to know why I went to a one-page contract? It's very simple. It takes me about 120 seconds to fill out this offer. 2 minutes. How long does it take to fill out a rep sheet? Longer than 2 minutes. How long?
5 minutes if you're fast.
5 minutes if you're fast. That's 2.5 times more than I want to take.
What do you do? You gotta explain.
Yeah, exactly. So what I do is I put this together so that I can have definiteness of purpose. It says purchase contract. It says what I will do. And I can tell you, in the 15 years I've been doing this business, never has my first contract gone through with no changes. Now maybe I'm bad at it, but it's just never happened. There's always a date change, a deposit change, something changed. So I figure, well, I'm not going to toil and sweat over the perfect, I know you guys do it, I can see you out there. Are the numbers right? What font am I using? It's not the right color, I don't like the spacing. I'm going to beat you too, because I'm going to get the offer in their hands. That makes sense? So it's a one-page contract because it's fast, because I know what I'm willing to do, and I know that something's going to get changed. Lisa, yes? That is not a cash offer.
Subject to.
That says 224, 10,000 down, 214 purchase price, and I'm basically going to take over whatever their loan, and I'm going to pay their equity in 15 years. Say again? She says, do I only do subject to? I buy 2 ways, all cash at a deep discount or full price on some kind of terms. This one, I asked them what they wanted, and they wanted the terms offer. Every offer I write, though, Lisa, is different. I've got, I don't know, thousands. I mean, I write one offer a day, and I've been doing it for 15 years. If I catalog all my offers, that's a lot of offers. And they're all different. Sure, I always change the wording. None of my contracts are cut and paste. Everything I do is completely unique because the people in the houses are unique. And so by practicing and by writing one offer a day, how good am I at writing offers? I'm very good. It's automatic. I don't really give much thought to the fact that I'm going to write an offer. I just write an offer, and I do it every day. And by writing one offer a day, I get very good at what I want to say, what I want to express in my offer. Does that make sense? Yes?
So you wrote your postcard to make a full price offer.
Absolutely.
I want $200,000 for my house, and you want to pay $175,000, and I answer your postcard. What do you think giving me an offer for?
What do you want again?
I want 200.
What kind of payment would you like on that $200,000?
No, I need cash.
Okay, so remember I said I can pay you full price. Here's the way I do it. I pay all cash at a deep discount, or I pay full price on terms. Now you said that you wanted cash and you wanted full price. Well, let me ask you this. You sound like a retail seller. You want retail price, would I be right? If I can find you a retail buyer to give you that $200,000, is there any reason why you wouldn't take that offer?
No?
Okay, can you give me 90 days to make that happen?
Sure.
Great. I just got a contract with a 90-day clause in it, and if I can find somebody to pay me $201,000 for that house, or pay me $1,000 to take that contract, did I give her full price? Are you happy?
Sure.
If I can't do it in 90 days, Riley, what did I lose? I didn't lose anything. I wrote an offer. I answered the phone. She asked me what I would do, and I said I would do it. If I'm willing to do it, would you give me 90 days to make that happen? It takes me a while to get all that money together. I want those kind of conversations to happen. The bottom line is, you guys, if you're not writing an offer a day, you're going to be out of business. I'm in the real estate investing business. How many of you guys, we have a sports figure here, right? You practice? How many times a week do you practice? 6 times a week. When he gets asked to step on the field and play a game, he already knows what the outcome's likely to be. He's seen it 6 other times that week alone. You can't get to a level of professional anything without practice. Now let me ask you this question. What makes you all think you can be a professional great investor if you're not practicing your craft every single day? I just don't know how we get there. There's no license to be an investor. There's no course of study when you're done that says, oh, you're an investor. Right? So if you're not practicing every day, what you're basically saying is that you can go out 100% cold, not warmed up, and just nail it when you get the opportunity. Does that seem silly? Yeah, it seems silly to me. Phone rings, you're prepped, right? You have all your cash in the bank, you know all your clauses, you're ready to go. Guy calls up, I want to save my house. Yeah, I got this, no sweat. Not going to happen. Anybody ever choke? Oh, really? No one else choked? Like a few of us? Okay, you're the honest ones. You know why? I choke at practice. That's what I want to choke. I hope that I make a mistake. I hope that I write an offer a day and people just tell me I'm a fool. Dang, man, how do I be less foolish? I'm not going to make that mistake again. This is about your practice. What's the difference between a 200 hitter and a 300 hitter in baseball?
300 hitters still play.
300 hitters are in the Hall of Fame, man. 200 hitters, they don't play. That's one more hit. One more hit at bat. A 10% improvement. You guys get what I'm saying? So who hits 300? Guys that practice. Guys that take pitch after pitch after pitch. Guys that would rather be out drinking with their friends. They're in the batting cage. They're seeing pitches. You guys got to see more pitches. You had a question or a comment there? I hope it was you.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you got that offer accepted.
Yeah. Closing on Tuesday.
You're taking over the financing.
Yep.
And you're to refinance until the property is 15 years.
Yep.
You always use that form?
Nope. Well, this form, yeah, but not those words.
That's a good thing.
Yep. It's exact. It's got the date, the escrow company. That's just like that. I just switch out whatever I want. The term is always blank, and I just write it out.
The only reason I asked is you got seller refinance and put one on fire there.
Oh yeah. I did that real quick. It's buyer with seller refinance. Sorry. See? Just checking my work. This was the first revision. So that's me. I have to sell or refinance in the next 15 years. They don't even really care. I said, can I have 30? They said, yeah. They said, well, we'd like it done sooner. And I said, okay, I'll try to do it in 15 years. That makes sense? Okay? I don't think I have another slide after that. I think this is the part where I said questions. Do I? You clicked it, nothing happened? That means there's nothing else. Okay. All right, so this is the part where you guys can ask questions. You can stump the monkey. Yes?
Where do you get the list for the evisions?
Oh, you just go to the court system in each county. Has a, I can't remember what it's called. You just ask for online access to the eviction filings. I think it's like $38 a month or something like that. My eviction attorney turned me on to that. I thought it was kind of cool, yeah.
You ever come up against the due on sale clause with these?
Sure, there's always, yes, a due on sale clause. Every mortgage has a due on sale clause. I've never seen a mortgage that doesn't have a due on sale clause. I just don't worry about the due on sale clause. I go to escrow, I pay the nice escrow people to give me a policy of title. They check everything, they make a disclosure to everybody involved, and then I start making the payments to the bank. I haven't hidden the transfer, I've taken the transfer, I've paid my fees. Everybody knows that it could happen, that they could accelerate that loan. Just, I don't worry about it.
So you make the payments to the bank, you're not?
Yep, I make the payment to the bank. And they take my check and they go, thank you for the check. Yes.
Annually, how much do you budget for investing in yourself for real estate education and personal development?
That says, how much do I annually budget for myself? I actually don't have any top limit. I go to 4 trainings a year. I make it a point to go once a quarter to something. And what that does is I have kind of my mainstays. Peter Fortunato is my utmost and foremost mentor. PeterFortunato.com. He talks about paper. He talks, you've been to him. Pete's a great guy. I have John Schaub. I have Gary Johnston. I have Mike Cantu. I have Bruce Norris. I have more fingers than I have courses I can go to in a year. So what I do is I'm always following these guys, and I go wherever they are, whether it's Florida, California, Utah, wherever they happen to be. So the most I've spent in a year, in a calendar year, is $50,000. I think I've got somewhere about $500,000 in education. If you go and look at my courses, anybody else have a bunch of courses on their wall? Yeah, I like to do that as well. So I don't have a budget. I just, whatever it costs, and I go where I go. I encourage you guys to start like a real estate mastermind or something, because you can draw a lot of really smart people to yourself when you do that. Yeah.
Well, back into her case, why did she want you to lock up her property for 90 days? She's missing out on all that opportunity.
Yeah, he asked the question, why would she want to lock up her property for 90 days and miss out on an opportunity? Let me teach you something that I learned. Do unto others, finish that sentence. As others are doing to you. Wrong. Not in real estate. Do unto others as they would have you do unto them. I asked her, she said she wanted to. I'm not going to ask questions. That's what she wants. See, the second you start saying, I would never do that, that seems dumb, you just blew it. She said she would do it. I asked, she said yes. I don't know what her motivation are. Would you give me 90 days to do it? Yes, I would. Try not to put overlays of what you think on that property, because that's going to lose you a lot of opportunities. Okay?
You said exclusive.
Say again.
You didn't say exclusive.
Well, no. The bottom line is this. What you need to remember is if you're not making offers, no one knows you're a buyer. So if you make an offer and they want to change the terms, David, do you want to accept the new terms? I don't know. What do they have the right to do, Lisa? Accept, reject, or counter. Accept, reject, or counter. What's the fourth one? They say nothing because you didn't make the offer. So I always make my offer. What do you want? When they say that, if I'm able to do it, I say, fine. In the event that I can do that, can I have that? Yes? Boom. Tom Hopkins tie-down close. Every good salesperson knows it's a trial close. You're always B closing, right? Right? A, B, C. Was there another question or comment? Right there.
It might be in that same vein, but when you buy a property subject to, you have to overcome concerns from the seller about their ability to go out with another property in the future.
He says, as a seller concern, if the seller brings up a concern, I address that concern head on. This particular seller is in Iowa, starting chiropractic school, is a veteran, Marine Corps veteran. He says, look, for the next 5 years, I'm eating, sleeping, and breathing school. I don't even want to think about buying a house. I've got what? Student debt, and I'm busy doing stuff. I said, well, let me tell you what. 5 years from now, you're going to have a pretty seasoned transaction with me. I doubt we'll be able to not find an underwriter that will write you a loan at that point. Is that true? One underwriter won't do it. Guess what you do? You find another lender who will do it. So, yeah, I've had sellers say that before. And then you ask them a simple question. What's your plan B? Let's say we don't do this deal. What are you going to do? You know what their answer is? I'm already in Iowa. It's already vacant. I guess I'm not going to do anything. So am I better than nothing? Am I better than chopped liver? Probably. Just ask them. Because like you, if you've got a better option, take it. But I gotta know, if you've got no other option, then I'm looking pretty good, right? Take a couple more questions so we can get out of here. Yes?
So if you're buying at full price and then you intend to rent it out, the debt service is going to be hard to cover with the net operating income. That's kind of what I'm thinking. How do you answer that?
Well, what he said is, if you're buying it to hold it, you're paying full price, what's the deal with the debt service? How do you make up that gap? Well, remember, there's 7 benefits in real estate. Income, growth, amortization, profit, management, use, right? If you have those things, let's say you're making no money monthly. Are you getting any amortization?
Yeah.
Are you getting depreciation? Are you getting write-offs against other income? So it's not for me always about what it'll cash flow, because every property cash flows, right? Negative or positive. Never in the middle. What other benefits are you